Welcome, everyone, to yoga and how to modify it. Yoga should match what our bodies are able to do. And so I hope to cue in a way that helps you discover options and feel free to take other options that you think of that help you feel a stretch, maybe in a different place, um, or help you release some tension, whatever it might be. I thought we'd start today on our spines, lying down on the floor. If seated works better for you, or if you're on a bed, that is fine too. Stay where you are. And no matter where you are, find a comfortable position. Perhaps one of your knees frequently bothers you, or a hip or shoulder. Make sure those places are nice and relaxed and able to release. So just feel parts of your body getting heavier. And if you can't come to that state of right relaxation, perhaps you're needing to adjust the way you are. Maybe you need to adjust the level, moving from seated to lying down or vice versa. Go ahead and close down the eyes. Maybe taking a moment to just notice the backs of the eyelids. And continue to release your body towards the floor. You might feel this as the body getting heavier and heavier. You might feel this through the lengthening of the breath that naturally occurs when one is still. And begin to draw the next breath in deeper. Let it fill the lungs more completely. And as you exhale, let yourself empty the lungs more completely. Watching this ebb and flow for a few breaths. Perhaps checking in once again with your body and how it's doing in terms of releasing and relaxing. And today for our pranayama, let's do extended exhale breath. I thought we hadn't done that one for a while. So all you have to do for this breath work is extend your exhale 1 to 2 to 3, even more, counts longer than the inhale. And this serves as a great nervous system reset. Allowing the amygdala to send the message to the hippocampus that all is well, that you're safe, the body can let go. And you'll notice as you continue your extended exhale breath that the body doesn't release all at once. Different parts of muscles and different sections of the body release a little at a time. But hopefully by now you're feeling a sense of inner calm and peace, connecting here, your body, your mind, the breath, helping you do that. And let's now set the extended exhale breath aside. Watch your body adjust to you not really controlling the breath anymore, but still being aware of where you are in the breath, aware of the body's movement, maybe aware of other sensations. Let's begin now to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Whatever that might look like for you, you might move parts of your feet, parts of your hands, maybe even put the movement into your arms and legs. You might slowly sort of make that adjustment to where you're involving larger and larger joints of the body, stretching maybe, maybe changing position, bending up through the knees if you weren't already. And let's all go ahead and bend up through our knees. We'll start this morning with some gentle pelvic tilt. And today's yoga and how to modify it class is going to be on the gentle side. We're going to work some areas of the body in terms of letting our somatic or using some somatics rather to relax the body and to stretch the tissues. So we're gently moving the tailbone up and down. We're lifting and lowering our navels here. And let's bring our spine now back to neutral position. Let's go ahead and draw both knees into our chest and wrap our arms around our legs, or we can grab a strap and use the strap to guide our knees in towards our torso. However you're comfortable, one hand can grab the other. You can interlace your fingers back behind the legs. So this is a great place to modify whatever it is that you need to be comfortable. So let's say you get your feet off the ground, but your knees are still relatively over your hips. That's fine. You would stay here and you would use the strap to, or your hands to hold your legs, supporting them, but also giving yourself just a little bit of a stretch into the hamstring muscles. So it doesn't matter where your knees happen to be. Let's now rock from left to right. We can do this pretty slowly. We're still kind of getting to the point to build our energy little by little. And when you come back to center, let's let the feet float down to the floor. Let's set ourselves up for bridge. So we'll remove any towel, blanket, pillow back behind the head and lay the head flat on the mat. Let's press into our feet and lift our hips slightly and set them down a few, maybe centimeters away from where they were. Then let's now bend through our elbows, bringing our fingertips up towards the ceiling. Let's press into our upper arms now and into our elbows. Lift the middle part of the back and the shoulders up off the mat. Set them down more flat and back behind us. And then relax the arms by your side. Tuck your elbows in towards your wrists. And with your palms facing down, let's press on the hands and the feet and even into the arms as we peel our hips and lower back up off the mat, maybe coming on to our mid back or shoulders, wherever that point is for you, stay there. And take a breath in, and then exhale, releasing the spine and the hips at once, and letting all the pressure come off the hips back in, all the pressure really comes from your hands and feet back into your hips as your hips press into the floor. So I want you to get that contact feeling with your hips and your sacral area. Let's inhale to lift into bridge a few more times. You can take breaths in between, or you can modify by inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. Take breaths in between here in the resting state. However, you want to modify these next few breaths to honor your body. And by concentrating on these next few breaths as you inhale to lift, exhale to lower, you're keeping your awareness in the present moment, and you're giving yourself a break from the thinking and overthinking that we do all day long. The next time your hips are nicely relaxed on the floor, go ahead and stay there. And let's windshield wiper the knees now back and forth. We might stretch the arms out wide like wings, or come into cactus arms. And we might keep our head still, or we might rotate our head from left to right with the knees, from left to right, away from the knees, however you're most comfortable. Whatever feels good to you in this moment. Next time your knees and chin are back to center, let's draw both legs into the chest again. Wrap our arms, or grab our strap, wrap the strap around the shins, holding on with the hands somehow. Taking a breath or two here. On the next exhale, let's release the strap. Inhale, lift your feet to the sky, and let's straighten our knees as much as we can, not worrying if there's a bend in the knees. Pointing and flexing the feet, maybe wiggling the toes, maybe rocking or windshield wipering the feet, or drawing circles. Maybe drawing circles with the legs too. And after a few in one direction, let's move in the opposite direction. And if you want, you can take a yoga walk now, letting the legs bend and straight alternatively. Alternate. I was right the first time. My bad. When you're ready, release your feet to the floor, and let's roll over onto one side, and we'll come up quickly. Well, not quickly, but right away here, with the next inhale at least, up into a seated position. From here, we'll stay for a little while. So let's elevate our hips. Maybe grabbing that blanket or folded up towel and sitting the sits bones right on top, maybe using a block. I actually like to sit with blocks a lot. And your legs in whatever comfortable position. And while I'm at it, let me show you a couple ways to sit with blocks. It's been a while since I've done that. One of the ways I am comfortable sitting is kneeling. And I put a block so that the length is going to run alongside the inner part of my lower legs. And I'm going to kneel right over this block and sink my sits bones down and back, and they will land on that block. The other way to use a second block, or the other way to sit uses a second block, and it makes a T towards the back of you so that your sits bones sit on the taller block, and your knees can open a little more and not be so strained. You could also sit on a bolster. Lots of ways to just shake up your yoga and to try different things. So let's begin by placing our hands somewhere on our legs. Just giving ourselves this contact is going to help us draw both shoulders forward and then draw both shoulders back. And to draw your shoulders back, lift your arms and hands and draw your elbows to the side body and back behind you. And notice that opening of the chest. And then the contact with the hands as the shoulders are forward, rounding the spine, and then drawing the elbows back. Arms can straighten or stay bent. It doesn't matter as you arch the spine. Let's bring our spine now to neutral, and let's further warm up our shoulders here. So we'll bring our left ear and our left shoulder together. Try to move the left ear down and the left shoulder up so that they meet in the middle. And then we're going to reach the right shoulder to the right side. Sorry, right ear to right shoulder. That's what I meant to say. And the left arm is going to come out to the side. We'll do that one more time. Left ear to left shoulder. You're kind of shrugging on one side of your body. Then do the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder as you hold your left hand out and lift it a little bit away from the floor. Good. Come back to center and let's do the same thing on the opposite side. This time, left ear comes to left shoulder. Oh no, that's the same side. I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself. Right shoulder and right ear come together, and then we'll reach out as we switch ears and shoulders. Just keep moving. You all probably have it better than I do. We'll come back to center. Now we'll shrug both shoulders and then relax and release both shoulders. Do this a couple more times at your pace, shrugging and then relaxing. One more time, shrugging and then relaxing. Let's bring our hands up towards our chest now. Interlace our fingers, elbows out to the side, even with the hands at like right in front of your throat or upper chest, or however much you are able to lift your arms out and up. We'll begin some lateral stretches by bringing one elbow up, the opposite elbow down. We'll come back to center, do the opposite, sitting firm in the sits bones, lifting one elbow while lowering the opposite side. We'll bring our elbows back to center, release our hands. Inhale, let's take a sun breath. And then exhale, hands can come out and down, forward and down, or you can always exhale the hands to the heart and then release them by your side so you can begin the next inhale, lifting the arms and then lowering. Nice, using the breath. Let's release our hands, take a sun breath. We'll move into a lateral stretch. Left hand grabs right wrist and we'll lean over, keeping our right side on top of the left, stacked. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, releases the arms. On your next inhale, we'll laterally stretch to the opposite side. Right hand grabs left wrist. And then we'll inhale to come back up. Exhale, releases our arms down by our side. This next pose, is a little easier to do from the easy pose shape. I'll sit on a block, just going side to side, the short edge, so opposite of how it's done with the high kneel or low kneel rather. So sitting in the easy pose, knees bent as little or as much as you'd like them to be. We'll place our hands on our knees and we're going to start to turn towards the right and we're going to look back behind us. And then we'll come back to center. We'll turn towards the left slowly, looking back behind us, and then coming back to center. Let's exhale, lowering our chin to our chest. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, bring the chin back up to neutral. Let's place both hands behind us with our fingertips pointing away from our hips. We're going to come into a chest opener here, arching the back, maybe lifting the chin up and drawing the shoulders back and down, really opening the chest, broadening your collarbone. Then press up off of your hands, come back to a more stacked position, seated, and then start to exhale and release forward into a forward fold, letting the spine round, the head drop, the chin tucks. Taking 3 breaths here. So just mentioning, you could have been sitting in a chair for all of our yoga class so far. That's another way you can modify and adjust your yoga. Let's inhale, walking our hands back towards our hips. And let's move from a seated position here into a kneeling position if that works for you. If kneeling does not work for you, we'll be doing low kneels and high kneels. If you can do one but not the other, don't do the lift or don't lower yourself. We're going to have some side lateral stretches, some lifting of the arms, some twisting from our table shape or position. And so just letting you know that if things become too difficult, you can do them from a seated position, more upright, instead of from a table or a kneeling position. So come on to your table and let's do some cat-cows from here. Lifting and lowering the navel. As the navel lowers, the head lifts. And as the navel lifts, the head lowers. Tailbone lines up with the head. Let's bring our spine to neutral. And if it's possible, we'll come into a kneeling position, a low kneel. Okay. We'll start by inhaling from this position, lower high kneel. Then we'll exhale, bringing our hands to the back of our head, elbows out to the side, and the hands are just hovering here. Next, inhale, lifts the hips up away from the heels, coming into a high kneel. Exhale and laterally stretch. We'll do the same thing we did with our hands in front of us with our interlaced fingers, but now the hands are behind the head. We'll laterally stretch, one elbow lifts, one elbow lowers. We'll come back to center on an inhale. We'll exhale, laterally stretching the opposite side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, low kneel or stay where you are. Next exhale, come into child's pose or puppy dog. And let's take a breath here. Let the next inhale help you slowly lift and come into a high kneel, lifting the right arm by your ear. Exhale, right arm floats down, crosses over to the left. You'll come into table briefly, and then you'll release the right shoulder towards the mat. And let's take a breath here. I just realized I've not done this pose for a really long time. I'm using these cards that come from this yoga sequencing book I have. And I really like doing that every once in a while because it reminds me of poses I've forgotten about. All right, from here, we'll come back up to table on the next inhale. So press your left hand right in front of you, down into the floor as you inhale to lift up. When we come into table, we'll move into a high kneel. This time, left and right arm come up overhead. Exhale, hips sink back towards the heels as we lower our arms to our heart center. Okay. Now we'll do the other side. So let's inhale, releasing our hands to our knees. Exhale, bring your arms back behind your head. Inhale, lift up into a high kneel or stay where you are seated or low kneel. Exhale, reach, laterally stretch, one elbow up, one down. Inhale back to center. Exhale, releases you to the other side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, we come back into a low kneel, or perhaps you stay in a high kneel. Exhale, come into child's pose or puppy dog. And take a breath or two here. You can now inhale coming to table to a high kneel, or inhale coming to a high kneel straight away, lifting the left arm up overhead, bicep right by the ear. Exhale, we'll release the right hand down as if we're coming into table. Left hand and arm crosses in front of the chest as we twist to the opposite side. Take a few breaths here. Pressing the back of the hand into the floor. Arm presses down too. On your next inhale, we'll either come up through table or come right up to a high kneel. Both arms come out and up or to the side and up overhead. Fingers reaching towards the sky. Exhale, hips sink back and down, and hands come to the heart. All right, let's move now into a shape I call wheel. Sinking our hips down onto the floor. We're going to separate our legs away from each other, bending our knees at a right angle. Sorry, somebody rang my doorbell, so you may be hearing some extra noises right now. So legs are in pinwheel shape. Whatever leg is towards the back of you, that hip's going to be slightly lifted. So we can support ourselves here with blocks under our hands quite easily. Sometimes it's comfortable to just place one on either side of the forward thigh. And let's just take a breath here for a moment. We'll turn now our chest towards that forward thigh. And on the next inhale, lengthen your spine here. And then exhale, we'll tip forward. We're going to come into a forward fold, lowering down as little or as much as we'd like to release the upper body over the forward leg. Few breaths. So now on our next inhale, let's lift our chin away from our chest, press down on the arms and hands to begin to lift our upper body away from the floor. Let's now switch sides, pinwheeling the legs, separating them in the opposite direction. Using our blocks to support us. We want to try to lower the lifted hip and get ourselves kind of more squared, if that makes sense. You may feel one side has more of a tightness and is higher than the opposite side. You may want to even place a block back behind you rather and just use one in front of you to really help relieve any tightness or discomfort you might feel in this pose. As you're ready, we'll lengthen the spine on the next inhale. Turning our chest over this forward thigh, we'll slowly begin to release the upper body forward again, coming into that forward fold, tucking the chin to the chest, lowering the top of the head towards the floor. Taking breaths here. On the next inhale, begin to lift your body back up, walking hands closer to hips, releasing your legs from this position. Let's straighten the knees and come into staff pose, pressing through both heels, maybe wiggling the toes, pointing and flexing the feet. Adjusting clothing. We're going to make our way from here up to standing. However that might look for you, go ahead, take your time. Slowly bring your head more up over your heart, farther away from the ground. And let's come into mountain pose. Facing the screen, feet rather hip distance apart. Let's press into our left leg and let's draw our right toes. I'll mirror you guys. Right toes forward, bending that knee in front of us. Now let's toe tap. You can adjust the standing leg here. And then as you're able, lift your knee, bring it to stillness, keep the toes on the floor even, and draw circles with your foot. First in one direction, your foot's either lightly touching the ground or lifted somewhat, and you're drawing circles. Let's now go in the opposite direction with our leg circles. And then we'll switch sides, maybe rotating the hips, doing something to relieve that tension in between here before we switch to the left side or left leg. So we're back in our mountain, this time bending the left knee, lifting the left heel, start to toe tap. Maybe you're lifting your foot for some circling, maybe you're not. You can point your toe, flex your toe and circle, doesn't matter. And then switch and go the opposite direction. Okay. Releasing the left leg, do a counter move. of some kind, maybe shaking the legs, coming back to your mountain pose. Now let's move up to the knees. And what we'll do is bend the knees slightly. Just let your hips lower a little bit, your shoulders and head come with. And then we'll circle our knees. So we're going to draw the knees forward, over, back, and across. And then slow down and make your knees circle in the opposite direction. All right. I had to get down a little closer to look to see what was next up. All right, arms at your side. Now let's circle our torso. So both feet are pressing into the mat in our mountain pose, and we'll circle our whole torso. Maybe not coming out very far. If you look at being stacked on top of your feet, maybe coming out a little farther in places where you're able to balance. We'll slow it down and let's do these torso circles in the opposite direction. Opposite direction. All right. Coming back to center with the hips, stacking the body on top. Let's bend up through the elbows, lifting the hands as if we're telling someone to stop. And we're going to circle the hands. First going in one way, doing a few circles here, stopping, and going the opposite way. When you're even, come back to center. And let's now circle our wrists. So let's try not to move the elbows, and we'll make circles or figure eights with the wrists. This feels really good. Hope it feels as good to you. So if you are making figure eights or circles, go the opposite way now. A little more thinking may be required. Your mind might have gone to the way that's easiest for you first, especially if you're doing figure eights. Now let's move into the elbows and circle the elbows. First in one direction a few times, and then in the opposite direction a few times. From here, let's put one hand up. We'll bring our elbows to shoulder height. One hand goes up, opposite hand goes down, and then switch. Let's go back and forth and just notice, how can you keep your shoulders more still and isolate them away from this movement of the hands and the elbows? Well, really, the elbows aren't moving too much either. Mine were. But now I've concentrated and they're not. So kind of fun to do these exercises just to try moving in different ways. So now think of the top of your head circling. And we're going to circle our head. We're really not moving the cervix, the cervical vertebra to look up or down. We're circling the head, kind of keeping our nose as level as possible. And now let's go in the opposite direction. Circling through the top of your head. All right. Good. Okay. From here, let's move into breath of joy. This is a very heat activating exercise, and it is going to get a little warm today. So let's just do 3 of them. We'll inhale, lifting our arms straight out and up, shoulder height. We'll exhale, maybe bend our knees, maybe keep them straight, and then stand, like unbend. So as the arms sway and lift again, out wide like a T, you can bend your knees and then straighten them by the time the arms are out to the side. The next inhale brings them up overhead, palms facing each other. Exhale, we're going to bring them down, kind of slice our hands and our arms through the air as we come into a forward fold. And then we'll inhale, coming back to hands to heart. Exhale, releases the arms by your side. Let's do that twice more. Inhaling, arms out and up forward. Exhaling, bring them out like a T. Inhaling, draw them up overhead. Exhale, arms slice through, knees bend, belly rests on thigh. Inhale, come back up to standing, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to Anjali Mudra. I did that kind of in a different inhale, exhale order. So release your arms by your side. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, arms up and out. Exhaling, T. Inhaling all the way up overhead, fingertips reaching to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands come to your heart or by your side. All right, from here, let's bring both of our arms and hands right by our head. We're going to reach them up overhead to the right and then reach down, letting the arms come out to the side, fingers pointing over to the left. Let's do that one more time, reaching up to the right and then across and down to the left. Let's now come back to the center, back to our mountain. You can do this from a chair pose as well, seated. Inhale, both arms out and up to the left. And then exhale, forward fold, release your hands over to the right. One more time, inhale, lifting the fingertips over to the left. Exhale, reaching the hands down and out over to the right. Let's move from this forward fold position down towards our mat. We'll release our hips to the floor. And let's go ahead and lie all the way back, supine, on our spine. We can even have a blanket under our head here to help us be very cushioned and comfortable. Let's draw one or both knees in towards the body, one at a time, or both together. Wrapping the arms or using the strap to draw the legs in towards the body. And just gently start to rock a little bit to the right and to the left, really pressing into both sides of the sacral ala, those little fanned out parts that come away from the vertebra. Reach just a few centimeters to the right and left. So we're just rocking a little bit side to side. Let's come back to center on the next inhale. Lift your head, neck, and chest, nose to knee, holding on to the legs or to the strap that's holding on to the legs. And then exhaling, releasing the head, neck, and chest. And let's let both knees release also to the floor. Let's come into piriformis stretch, lifting the right foot, crossing the ankle over, bringing that right knee out and away from the body. You can press through your right palm into the right thigh here. You can also lift the left foot, interlace the hands and fingers behind the knee, and draw both legs into the body. Take a few breaths, finding this nice stretch here. So with wherever your position is here in this piriformis stretch, the right foot should be tense. Let's press through the right heel, and we can wiggle and move this left leg, maybe bend or straighten the knee, wiggle the toes, but we're going to keep this right heel tense so that our whole right leg is a little tense here. Take one more breath. And then on the next exhale, release your legs and let's straighten the legs out long on the mat. And with the next inhale, take a full body stretch, lifting the arms up towards the shoulders and back behind your head, or up towards the sky and back behind your head. And stretch here. On the next exhale, let's bring our feet back up onto the mat, knees bent to the sky, and arms back down by our side. Let's piriform a stretch on the opposite side. So left knee opens out, foot picks up, sets itself somewhere along the right thigh, and we're going to press the left thigh away with our left palm. Maybe keeping the pressure there. Maybe alleviating the pressure, moving the knee back in. You can interlace your fingers back behind your right thigh, drawing both legs into the body, stretching the hip, pressing the right thigh into the left ankle. See how that stretch feels, being gentle with yourself always. Taking another breath or two. And then releasing the legs, uncrossing that left foot. Let's draw both knees into the chest again, both together or one at a time. And this time as we rock from left to right, let's make the rocking a little bit more forceful. We want to roll all the way to one side. Use our core to roll back to center. Maybe try using a little bit of a push off of that elbow if needed, but try to use most of the core to also move you here. And then we'll come back to center and let the feet float down to the mat. Let's start with our left knee. We'll draw just the left knee into the chest. Take a breath or two here. That right leg can be bent or straight kneed. We'll come from here to half happy baby. So the left knee is already into the chest. We'll lift the left foot up towards the ceiling, bringing the heel over the knee. We can reach our hands up, holding on to our leg, the lower leg, holding on maybe to the left ankle or the left foot. Taking a few breaths here, feeling that stretch. Now go ahead and release that left foot. Let the left foot float down to the floor. We'll draw the right knee in next. Just holding here for a moment. And then coming into half happy baby. Right foot lifts, bringing the heel right up over the knee, drawing that knee out towards the torso, the side body, the armpit. Holding on wherever you're able. And releasing as you're ready. Right foot floats down to the mat. From here, let's move into student choice. Take a few minutes to explore a shape that your body feels like getting into right now. Maybe it's a wide angle from this reclined position. Maybe it's reclined butterfly, more windshield wipers, more of a yoga walk. Letting your body find its way, letting it be in charge, letting your mind follow your body for a change, huh? Thanking our bodies for the time that it, all the times that it follows our minds and what we want to do. Take a few more breaths wherever it is that you are and may end up. You're ready. Go ahead and set yourself up for the final Shavasana, whether your knees are bent or straight, whether your toes are released out to the side or are pressing into the mat, maybe pressing into each other if you wanted to stay in reclined butterfly here. Whatever shape is comfortable to you and your body, one you can really relax into, exploring long through the back of the neck, shoulders back and down behind you, arms relaxed, whether they're on your torso or by your side somewhere. Begin to focus now on your breath. Lengthening the breath, smoothing it out. And let's come into a pranayama here. Today, let's continue with our extended exhale breath that we did in our opening of practice. So just finding an extended exhale, letting that exhale count be a few beats or counts longer than the inhale. As your mind wanders, bring it back to your extended exhale breath. And notice your body relaxing more and more against the floor. As you release your next breath, release your extended exhales. Let your body ebb and flow with your breath. And again, as the mind wanders, bring it back to the anchor of your breathing, something that's always there no matter what. Now, as you're ready, gently begin to rock your head from left to right. And the next time your chin's moving to the center, leave it there in stillness above your sternum and make your way over onto one side. And we'll lift up slowly, carefully into a seated position once again. Sits bones pressing into the floor, spine lengthened, straight in alignment. Arms out to the side. We'll inhale, taking our last sun breath together today. Exhale, hands come together and down to the heart center. Closing down the eyes, let your next exhale release your chin towards your chest as we bow to the divine found in each of us. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Let your next inhale lift your chin, release your hands, flutter open your eyes, and thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a good week and see you next time. Take care.